Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, live from Chicago, the Hal Sparks radio program mega worldwide.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Hal Sparks, actor, comedian, and multimedia personality.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hal Sparks.
All right, let's do this.
Oh my, the week we've had in the world of Trump legal troubles. It got as gross as you would expect. I managed to find the entire Trump deposition that they released, the 48 minutes of it from the E. Jean Carroll case. I'm going to cover that on my Monday show.
Okay.
But dear Lord, I think the big standout moment, and many people have already seen it, is where Donald Trump, right after saying that E. Jean Carroll was not his type, not my type, and neither are you, lady. You're not even worth my time to be grotesque.
You are. You know what you are? You're too ugly for me to sexually assault.
Right. Yes. That's that. He wanted points for that.
Yeah.
Right after that moment, do you know that he mistook E. Jean Carroll for Marla Maples? He pointed her out in the photograph where they met and said, "That's my wife."
I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I've been racking my brain trying to think of a worse trap you could find yourself in as a man in that moment.
Ooh,
saying,
Hal Vickery came through with a
Hal Vickery,
super
thank you.
Chat
Celebrating
Donald Trump's week.
Yes, his weakness week. The pick was not Marley. It was Ivana, and he called E. Jean Carroll. Yes, that was not his wife. And I think all men fear a moment, perhaps, and it may be occasionally the broad-minded lady out there where they hold up a picture of their anniversary and go, "Remember when I met you at this party? I think this is the first picture of us meeting." And
holy moly! I'm sorry, Wes just gifted 50.
Oh, Wes, thank you so much. Thank you, because we need the swear.
He's hiding as WW.
Yeah, so it's he's
I found
allowed.
you, Wes.
We'll allow it.
You can't hide that smile from me.
Well spotted. That you have this moment where you're like, "Hey, babe, look, it's the first. I think I found the first picture of us meeting." And she goes, "No, we met a year before that. We were already married at that point, and that's the woman you had the affair with." And you told me you found her unattractive when I confronted you about it, and you said, and then you mistake her for me. Like that moment, like that is
so bad.
That's like reality. That's like 90 Day Fiance craziness. That's that like reality dating show horror. And he actually did it.
Of course.
Yeah. And I got news for you.
A rake.
It will. Yes, right. Thwack. He is. And I have to say, there is no point. I wasn't surprised that he did something like that. It was amazingly sort of poetically stupid, though. It was that special that it almost felt fictional. It was so nail in the head. It was like a moment in the Law and Order version of a case that they show where you're like, all right, they jumped the shark. They kind of pushed it. That's a little much. Right. Not surprising at all. And on the other side of the spectrum, we had a similar moment with Chuck Grassley. I don't know if you... Carol Cobb, thank you so much. Chuck Grassley wants to think of... soon he'll be able to add convicted civil rapists to his list of horrifics. Yes, it's... And the other women who've come forward saying, look, I can't press charges because too much time has passed, but this happened. And I'll stand like that I feel for them as much as I do for E. Jean Carroll in a lot of ways. In some cases, it's out of their heads because they're from another state or they came in to testify because of just gross. and then watching him watch the Access Hollywood tape and then saying, that's the way it's been with stars for a million years.
What?
Unfortunately or fortunately. And he says, I think the order of unfortunately versus fortunately was very telling with Trump. You know what I mean? Unfortunately or fortunately. Fortunately, for guys like me, they let you just do whatever you want. Unfortunately, that came
by the whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the big moves on the other side of the spectrum is this is finally it. This is the Hunter Biden day, man. They finally got him. This is the judge.
Goodness. He's just been running around out there.
They're painting, having consensual sex, in some cases that he allegedly paid for, with other adults, as opposed to just randomly accosting women in dressing rooms and parties and whatever, and hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and going, whatever. What he just likes them a little young. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, this is the big news drop was going to be that we've got a whistleblower that says they are slow walking an investigation into the possible influence peddling of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden around things where money may have changed hands in exchange for something that hasn't happened yet and doesn't look like it's going to happen, which is giving China hegemonic power over the United States. That's the part. I just have to put that up on the baffling shelf. Everybody has to have a baffling shelf in their home where they're like, where does this go? I don't even know what this is. Just put it
they
up
always,
on the...
They always slow walk these things. Oh yeah, well, if you're going to do that, how about we indict Bill Clinton for murdering this person in 1994 in Arizona?
The Clinton body count, right?
Yeah, it's go ahead.
Yes, right.
If he killed people, let's bring him to justice, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. None of us mind. No. So
he's not our savior.
So Chuck Grassley and James Comer are the two kind of they're the Grassley in the Senate and Comer in the House are the two people pushing we've got to take down Hunter Biden because that's how we take down Joe storyline. That's been their aim. And Grassley put out a 1,000-page report a couple of months ago, which yours truly, I will say, breezed through, because largely a lot of it was just stuff he had released earlier with supplemental nonsense attached to it, none of which
those
meant
blabbermouth
anything.
Articles that are 4 pages long, but it's really just the previous 8 articles that they've written about him pasted at the end of the one news item.
That's exactly right. Yes. And then a little bit of narration attaching them because they were inadequate to actually make the case in the first place. So they're like, oh, I gotta spackle the holes in this a little bit with some story, that kind of stuff. And all the stuff that they accuse Schiff of doing, around Trump and all that stuff. They're just well, I guess all bets are off. Anyways, Grassley makes these, is constantly putting out this stuff. And where was it? I was on Fox News. He and Comer released this yet another paper alleging that Biden was engaged in a influence peddling criminal scheme to blah, 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 right? That whole thing. And that there are 35 Bidens involved, including Shemp Biden and blah, blah, blah. And this is the lead in it. He goes, this is part of the statement. We believe the FBI possesses an unclassified internal document that includes very serious and detailed allegations implicating the current president of the United States, Grassley said in a statement. The FBI's recent history of botching politically charged investigations demands close congressional oversight. That's what he said. Okay, so we know that they have Trump friendlies in the FBI that have been trying to either run interference for Trump in the first place or bring down Biden. And the idea that there is a memo basically where someone alleges something is immaterial to the existence of paper in the world. Nobody cares. Evidence. If you have evidence, then drop it. You've got this, they've had this alleged laptop for 3 years now. It's all been posted online for almost a year. And what do we keep seeing? Pictures of Hunter Biden smoking in a bathtub. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's a little gross.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, I'm
smoking
not a fan. I don't
smoking in the bathtub.
Pictures.
Smoking in the bathtub. You don't think it's got a chance? Wow. Yeah. So, and the follow up was the beautiful part. This is on Friday. He was on Greta Van Susteren's show on Newsmax. And if you don't know, Greg Kelly, the most miserable man in news, who's on Newsmax, got bumped to a later, crappier time slot because Newsmax brought in Greta Van Susteren because they got some of Fox's cast-offs and they were like, we're going to kill it now. We've got gravitas. So he had he was on Greta Van Susteren's, and he says that he has no evidence to back his claim. She said, he goes, "It is a very serious allegation. I wish I could say that I knew it was true or untrue." That,
wow.
After
Alex, how can I say nothing in 12 words or less?
Yeah. Can I say like gibberish attacks for 200, Alex? That statement alone, I think, sums up the entirety of all the news things you've heard lately about they're this close to the Biden influence campaign and the Biden criminal family and all that kind of stuff that's coming up, which is basically them just trying to patch over what Trump did while he was in office by just dirtying up everybody around, going, all politicians are dirty, almost providing him cover with this mythology that the Bidens, who live in a relatively minor house, are somehow socking away billions of Chinese yuan someplace so that he can spend it when he's 90. It's super weird. Anyways, I felt
so over this both sides garbage.
Yes. And so that statement, it is a very serious allegation. I wish I could say that I knew it was true or untrue. This is after he wrote a 1,000-page report. This is after they have done nothing but stand on, in front of any microphone they can and say, this is a crime syndicate, this family, and I have to say, I enjoyed that moment more than almost any other rake stomp fail that these guys have done. I just enjoy that. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, now with 100% more Johnny Million. Yes, we'll be back. So, and then